man choose.
What's going on, everybody? It's TheNidien, and welcome to Military Mondensday edition, so to speak. Yeah, if that makes any sense. But anyway, sorry I didn't bring Military Monday on Monday, but like I said, holiday weekend had a bunch going on, so I'm going to bring it to you today. And what better way to bring it to you with a little game of CoD4 with a Star Wars mod pack? This has got to be one of the coolest things I've seen in a long time. I actually seen it off a machinima video, went and downloaded it, got on a server, played a couple games of Capture the Flag, and then got in this game of Headquarters between loading maps and stuff like that. So I came in kind of late. As you can see, we're already losing 70-0. But this mod pack is really well done, and exactly why the mod community on the PC side of things shouldn't die, so to speak. Like these developers, there's a big business in modding, and this goes to show it doesn't ruin the game, it just gives another aspect. And that's one thing about mods. Are there a lot of bad mods out there? Of course, but you can choose to install them and you can choose to get on that server if you wish. I actually didn't know what I was doing in this game. I don't know the maps, obviously, because they're not technical. These are all new maps. They're not CoD4 maps. Guns are set up different and everything else. So this is, but this is a hell of a lot of fun. The kill streaks are all different. You got droids, you got drones running around. I actually thought you had to destroy that little droid. As you can see, I was shooting at it, and all that other stuff. So, but enjoy the gameplay, because this was a really fun match of Headquarters. I think I went like 43-38 or something. Not too crazy, but I went positive and we won, and that's what counts. So, Military Monday. What I wanted to get into this week was some of the vehicles and stuff I've ridden in. And first off, I'm going to start off with the general vehicle that everybody knows and loves to hate, is the Deuce and a Half. This is going to be your main transport vehicle. I'm going to pop a little picture up for you. For those of you that don't know what the hell I'm talking about, I'm sure you've all seen it. But this is going to be your main transport vehicle and what you're going to roll around in a lot. Usually, I don't know the exact limit on the people that are supposed to be, quote-unquote, supposed to be in these vehicles. But I don't think I've ever seen less than 30. Upwards of, they packed 50 of us in one of these things once in Alaska, and all covered up with doors on it, so we can make it through the checkpoint without getting in too much trouble. And it becomes just a very uncomfortable ride. It's one of those things where they give you you got two benches on the side, stuff down the middle for your packs. Well, it doesn't always happen like that. The benches are made of hard wood. They kill you. They bounce around. The shock system in these things, you might as well just be dragged behind the thing in a rope. You might have actually a more comfortable ride. And when they start packing people in there like that, like a sardine can, you have to sit people on top of people on top of people. And we had a couple kids get their legs broken from people like hitting a big bump and coming down on their legs because they were under 3 people. Matter of fact, in Alaska, we had ours were covered up due to the snowstorms and everything that was going on. And I believe the one day we were there was negative 35 degrees, which, by the way, is awful. You can barely breathe, and you don't want to breathe. I got a slight frostbite in 5 of my fingers, 3 on my right hand, 2 on my left hand. So now that anytime the weather gets below 50 degrees, I lose all the blood in the tips of my fingers, and I gotta go run them under warm water. And sometimes they hurt so bad that I want to just cut them off and be done with it. But then I wouldn't be able to game, and we can't have that. So, anyways, back to the Deuce and a Half. We packed everybody in there, and it was covered with the doors on it. We had this hotshot staff sergeant that always thought he was better than everybody for whatever reason. And when he got in, there was a fire extinguisher on the inside of the door. When he got in, he sat down on top of this fire extinguisher. Unfortunately, I was the poor sap sitting right in front of him, and the fire extinguisher literally went off like right in my face, like 2 inches. and his dumbass didn't even realize it was going off for a few seconds. So this thing's just blowing. We were so packed in there I couldn't move. I honestly thought that was the end of it. I thought I was going to die. I couldn't breathe. Those things, it just sucks the life out of you. It's just straight carbon dioxide, and that's not fucking cool at all. So we had to pile back in. Well, when we piled back in, that's when everybody got twisted up because they were on a timed restraint, and then that's when it ended up, a couple kids ended up breaking their legs. But the Deuce and a Half is overall, it's a beast vehicle. Like, they barely ever break down, from what I can understand. They can go through a lot of shit, but it's probably the most uncomfortable ride that you may ever have, hands down. Well, I can't say that because I'm going to get into another vehicle, which is the most uncomfortable ride I've ever had, hands down. But Deuce and a Half is probably number 2 on the list of most uncomfortable rides, and something you're going to have to ride in very, very often. And then, of course, we're going to move on to the classic Humvee. Now, these aren't bad because they can only fit 4 guys for the most part. Now, I say for the most part because that's all they're supposed to fit. Well, you got kind of two types of Humvees. You got, the classic 4-seater and maybe 5-seater with a gunner up there, and then you got the ones with the open back on it that kind of use for transport as well. Like sometimes you see like medical vehicles, Humvees like that with the open back, or maybe they got a shroud or a tarp on them as well, covering them up. And again, when I say most should be 4 to 5-seater, that's when the Marines kick in and they prove you wrong. Out in the Mojave, they stuck 10 of us in the back of this Humvee when it was like 130 degrees. We literally, I was about to pass out. The one kid did pass out, and they wouldn't let us out of this Humvee. So we hit a checkpoint at some point, and we literally just all jumped out, pulled the other kid out, and refused. We ended up humping the rest of the way for another 12 miles or whatever it was, but it was absolutely ridiculous. The one kid had to go to a hospital for heat exhaustion. They weren't going to let us out. If he would have been in there for God knows how long it would have taken him, he probably might have died. So, yeah, like I said, the military has come to show me a lot that isn't so great, so to speak, and I don't miss it whatsoever, if you can't tell. So the Humvee is a really kick-ass vehicle, especially the more on the lines of the assault Humvees, where you have the 4 or 5 guys with the 50 cal or the Mark 80 on the top. Very rarely, man, I can't talk today. 240 Golf might be on the top, but for the most part, it's a Mark 80 automatic grenade launcher, or the 50 cal. And they have various other. They may have a tow missile hanging off of it. You don't really see them all too often. Matter of fact, I think in the 8 years I was in, I only seen an actual tow missile like maybe once or twice. We got to see them be shot and actually get hands on and actually see what a tow missile was and everything like that. And they are badass, but you don't see them very often. They're pretty rare, and they might be phasing them out. I'm not exactly sure. And that's going to be your general 2 vehicles you're going to be in constantly over and over and over again. I mean, there is no ifs, ands, or buts. There's some different takes on some of the newer Humvees, some of the bigger Humvees, and they're coming full circle since the government got pooped on about the whole thing in Iraq with the fault, the shitty equipment and stuff. They're starting to get new things out and about. But that's as far as like land vehicle. No, I can't say that. I forgot the ABCs or ABTs, the ATVs, armored, what the hell are they called? I don't know. I'm going to put a picture up for you. And this is one of those vehicles that has got like a general purpose. It's like a armored military transport. You're only supposed to have, maybe you got a driver, a gunner, and then usually what we fit in there, 1, 2, like 4, like 8 other guys. You could possibly fit more, and the Marines will show you how to do that. To me, that's unsafe though, because if you can't get out in a quick and efficient manner, you're gonna end up getting yourself killed trying to get out of one of these things. And a lot of the guys that do drive them in the military call them crunchies, and that's due to people trying to hide underneath them for shade and falling asleep, and nobody knows they're there, and crunch crunch when they start up and go off. And that's about that. These things are horribly engineered, to say the least. I'm not exactly sure what's going on with them, but I think my comm just screwed up. Hold on 2 seconds. Sorry about that. I don't know what the hell happened. I turned my volume off and thought that I may have lost sound on my comm, so I'm back. Don't worry. What the hell was I talking about? Oh yeah, these vehicles are kind of general purpose. They go really well. They're tracked vehicles, so they do a lot in the sand. They're pretty smooth ride, and then they can go in water too, so you can deploy them from boats. I haven't actually done that. I've seen it done. They probably couldn't pay me to get into this thing. I must have been shooting at a visible wall there. You couldn't pay me enough to get in the water with one of these things. We're talking thousands and thousands of pounds floating through the ocean. Not me, man. That's gonna be my luck. I'd end up on the bottom of the ocean, and that would be that. So I never did any of the little water things. But as far as, like I was talking before, the whole hold on a second thing, the engineer, whoever designed these things, needs to be bitch slapped, because what it is, it's got a hatch, as you can see from the picture, that you come out the back, but it also has 2 hatches at the top that open up, and you know, they're more for, like, you can stand up and look out, or maybe if you got ambush, you could use it as cover in and out, so you're not getting out of the vehicle, and general airflow. I mean, the airflow in these things is awful, and so you open up the top there, and you know, obviously more airflow. The problem being is the exhaust pipes are right in the front of the vehicle, up above those little hatches. So guess what happens when you're driving along? The exhaust goes down and into the cab, and you're gonna freaking have to die of carbon monoxide poisoning if you're in there too long. We were getting sick. I had a couple kids puking. One kid passed out. I was on my way out, and they finally stopped and told us to get all out because, you know, we were going down. The one kid got a bloody nose from it that I don't even know. He filled up a whole MRE bag of blood just from his nose. It was a complete disaster. And as far as the ride goes, you want to be that guy that is standing in the gunner seat, or you want to be that guy that's up. If there is no gunner in there, wedge your little body up into that corner and chill with your legs out. Because again, they got little wooden benches in there that are probably, like, I don't know, 6 inches wide. So you have, you know, half your butt cheek on it, and you're bouncing around, rolling around, and all this other stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, even though these are armored vehicles and heavy-duty shit, if a zombie apocalypse breaks out or some type of weird revolution in the future, if you want to take out one of these vehicles, throw a roll of barbed wire in front of it and game over. These things hit the most minuscule amounts of barbed wire of all things, and it runs up in the tracks, and it's done for hours on hours on hours. And it's quite disconcerting to think that you could take out a big old vehicle like that with just a simple roll of barbed wire. But it is what it is. What are you going to do? And that's pretty much the 3 main land vehicles that I've been on. Now, I have been in a couple helicopters, and I've tried to Google the shit out of this helicopter. I cannot remember the name of it. It was kind of like, if you had to look at anything, look up the Sea Stallions, or there's another one that's kind of similar. It's on that, but not exactly sure exactly what it was. I can't find a picture of it to be to put up for you guys. But the rotor was right out the back hatch. They had a back hatch, you know, as a vehicle transport, as well as personnel transport. They're all set up different depending. But these things were kind of scary. Military helicopters are known to shit the bed and go down, unfortunately, just due to old age, and the government really needs to come up with some type of filter system for sand and all this shit. I'm telling you, they let people go down constantly, and they're not doing anything about it, really. But this thing had the hatch, you know, and they were probably from around the Vietnam era, and you know, you're putting on this little frayed seat belt, and you're looking at it, and they make you wear a little special white helmet because they like to pick on you. I'm not exactly sure what that white helmet would do other than to make other people laugh before you die. And then they would keep the hatch open, so when we flew around, and I'm scared of heights, man. I'm not good with heights whatsoever, but I can do airplanes and stuff like that because the height, you're so high that you kind of lose that sense of height, if that makes any sense. And what you got is just, you know, they're doing all these stupid maneuvers to try to freak us out and whatnot, and it worked. It worked because they got the hatch open, so you're leaning on a little frayed seatbelt, looking out this big old hatch, just waiting to fall out and die. But it was, for the most part, a fairly smooth ride. But you know, how many military helicopters have gone down, and you know, just it always sits in the back of your head. The second helicopter, however, that I did get to ride on a few times was the Black Hawk. And I'm going to tell you, that is one badass helicopter. That is probably the smoothest ride. Probably puts a Cadillac to shame. This thing was like floating on a cloud, and you could just feel the overwhelming power of this machine. And if you guys ever get a chance, like if there's some sort of display or somewhere where you can go to a fair at some point, and if they have a Black Hawk that people can ride, and you got to pay like a few bucks, do it. I highly suggest it. It's an amazing ride, an amazing just feel of power. I mean, I can't put it any other way. And just watching them, I never got to be in them when they were shooting off missiles and doing all their exercises, but I have watched it, and it's just amazing to watch. Absolutely amazing. But that's the 4 or 5 vehicles I've been in. Unfortunately, I haven't been in like a crazy mess of vehicles where I could be like, oh man, you know, you guys got to see this or see that. I mean, it's just mostly your general purpose vehicles, and you know, that's what it is. So I hope, you know, hey, by the way, kind of going off on a tangent here, if you guys have Call of Duty 4 on the PC, let me know. It's not like it can run on some older computers, like I said. And I think it's like $7 or $8 to pick up. I think the digital download may be like 15-ish or so, and then you can go get this mod pack for free. This server seems packed at times, other times it's not very packed, but even Call of Duty 4 in general, I want to start bringing you guys some more gameplay and get back into the Call of Duty feel before Modern Warfare 3 hits, so I can get that feeling, even though Modern Warfare 2 and Modern Warfare 3 are a lot different pace and feeling, even as Call of Duty 4. But either way, guys, if you got it, great. Pick it up if you have the chance, or if you have the money and the means to do it. I'd love to play with a bunch of you guys. Maybe we can get a little server started, or even, you know, get a collective server where everybody keeps getting on and just getting a bunch of good games. So that's what I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed the Star Wars Call of Duty 4 mod pack, and again, Military Monday, the Mondensday edition. So as always, guys, have a great day. Peace.